Cause Day fundraising event. Thank you for taking the time to come out and support Multiple Sclerosis Society of Canada. It's a very important cause in an organization that we're absolutely thrilled to be working with. I'd like to introduce Paul Holland, who's our CEO, and Ken Mayhew, who's the Chief Development Officer for the MS Society of Canada. Paul, would you please mind saying a few words? It's a delight to be here this evening. Thank you everyone for coming out. I just want to take a couple moments and talk about what we're trying to do here. This is the wind-up of what has been a truly Canadian event. It started very early this morning in St. John's, Newfoundland, where the first restaurant started cruising for a cause, and we've rolled right across the country. Today I've had the opportunity to be in 4 cities, and I'm delighted to get a chance to wrap it up with the best event of all right here in Coquitlam. I've been absolutely proud. How did A&W get into this? Well, for many, many years, A&W has really been committed through our operators to be an integral part of our community. Our franchise operators build great relationships. They support causes in their community. And several years ago, under the leadership of a number of our franchisees, they said we should really make a difference on a national basis. And with that leadership, A&W went to work to try and find a way that we could do what we do so well and really make a difference to the lives of many, many Canadians. And that's where MS comes in. MS is a disease that Ken will tell you about in a moment, affects over 70,000 Canadians. It's almost uniquely a Canadian disease. It's one where in Canada, the MS Society under their leadership is making real breakthroughs in research, where a little more funding, a little more money, and a little more support can mean the difference. And that's what we've tried to do here, is make something happen that means a difference. And that's cruising. Cruising at A&W back to 1956. I was in the city just earlier today where A&W all started, where the first restaurant was in 56. And in 1956, people pulled into the drive-in in classic cars. They weren't classic then, and they are now. And had a teen burger and a frosty mug of root beer. And today we've got classic cars, and we've got almost 100 of them here, I think, who pulled in to enjoy a teen burger, a frosty mug of root beer, and join us in helping to make a difference in something that really matters in Canada. And we've had a fantastic day. We won't know what the total is, probably for a couple of days, but I know we'll far exceed any of our expectations because of the commitment of a number of people, the people in our restaurants and the people in our community and people like you who turned out to help us. I want to particularly acknowledge, because this is a wrap-up this evening, a few people who've made such an enormous difference before I turn it over to Ken. The first is the team in our marketing group who've really worked so hard, and in particular three people who really spearheaded this. David Waterfall, who's our Director of Marketing and EA, Roger Barnes, who heads up Cruise and the Dub, and Jared Court, who's been with us all day today. Fantastic job, all of you. You really provided enormous leadership and the backbone. Thank you. Great. I want to acknowledge our head office group, some of whom are here today, but who have found out across every restaurant in the Lower Mainland today, help support our restaurants, and they've done a fantastic job of making every event special. Thank you, guys. It's fantastic. I want to also acknowledge our franchise operator. Roger Millad is one of the leaders in the franchise community at A&W. He and his team operate 18 restaurants, 4 in Coquitlam. This restaurant has previously been recognized as the best restaurant in the country by winning our President's Award. They're fantastic operators. They're leaders in their community, and you can see what they do by building wonderful relationships and making a difference. And so Roger, Chris, your whole team have done a spectacular job, magnificent piece of work. Thank you. And finally, I want to acknowledge the MS Society and their volunteers. We have with us Ken Mayhew and Stuart Wong from their headquarters. We have their team who lead MS Society in Vancouver here, and we've had volunteers with us right across the country. They are absolutely one of the best organizations we've ever had the opportunity to work with. Their commitment to what they're doing, their focus on their clients, and their focus on research, their focus on making people's lives better is remarkable. I don't think we could have had a better partner to make a difference with, and certainly our success will come from your efforts. Thank you so much. And so I'll wrap up and turn it over to Ken just to say a few words by thanking you. This is really about having some fun and doing some good. And when you look around at everyone here today, that's exactly what's going on. Everyone's having a great evening. we've got wonderful weather, and we've done something that is really good right across Canada in all restaurants. Thank you so much. Let me call on Ken.
Thank you so much. Certainly a very tough act to follow, and I have the privilege on behalf of the MS Society of saying thank you on behalf of those 70,000 families who live with MS every day. I think we live in a time right now where the news certainly doesn't shy away from stories of cutbacks and tough times, and to see a corporate partner such as this step forward at a time such as this to help an organization such as ours, which unfortunately in tougher times sees an incredible increase in demand on our services, speaks a lot to the kind of culture of the company. I'd like to start off, please, by asking everybody to join me in thanking A&W for being such incredible partners. As Paul indicated, today started fairly early with a trip to the first location with Paul in a cab at the equivalent of about 4 o'clock in the morning BC time. And Paul was asking me how I thought the day would go, and I said, well, we have a lot of these partnerships. I just need to let you know that they generally start fairly slowly and grow. And of course, I was proven incredibly wrong throughout the whole course of the day. I think that is a little bit of the taste of the way that A&W does things, approach things. Cruising the Dub is just one example, and to be involved in their first ever Cruising for a Cause has been a great honor for us. Let me just take a very brief moment and tell you a little bit about multiple sclerosis. Unfortunately, because of our incidence rate, as Paul suggested, it's known as Canada's disease. Symptoms can range from something fairly minor, maybe blurring of eyesight, fatigue, all the way to partial or complete paralysis. And the good news is that I've been with the MS Society for almost 20 years, and in that very short amount of time, there are 5 disease-modifying therapies that are now available to help people, to help control those symptoms, and to dramatically improve their quality of life. And despite that progress, we're not where we need to be. And so the Society, led by 30,000 volunteers from coast to coast, is committed as ever before to accelerating the pace of that progress, as we also achieve the second half of our mission, which is caring for those who have MS and their families in our communities. And you are extremely fortunate in BC to have the caliber of chapter network that you have, incredible volunteers and staff working together to make folks' lives a little bit easier. Today specifically, we celebrate Cruising for a Cause, and if I could leave with just one small reminder of how much hope that you are providing today. The MS Society is almost entirely self-funded, which means that everything that we're able to do is thanks to the generosity of individuals and of corporations. And I have the privilege in the work that I do to meet with many different partners in my capacity from coast to coast. I think it's fair to say that we have never had a first-year partner like this in the 60-year proud history of our organization. And I just want to, on behalf of all those with MS and their families, our board of directors, thank A&W, their employees, their customers, the great cruisers who are here today making the day special, their customers, their team, and Paul, for that matter, for more or less mobilizing your entire worthy organization on our behalf. We're extremely grateful. Thank you so much.
Just to close, thank you so much for coming, and I urge you to please enjoy every last minute of what this beautiful evening has to offer. Thank you.